Yo, I respectfully disagree podcast. Second episode of 2026. Got C with me today.
What's going on?
Appreciate you pulling up. For starters, turn my mic down a little bit. Big ups to you for reaching out to me after the last episode that I posted. You were one of the first ones, and I had expressed that I want to move more towards deeper conversations, mental health, anything that will help people just kind of get clarity. And you had expressed that word, like clarity. You had put some emphasis on that. And then other people had started reaching out. It was like, bro, it was a dope conversation. Like you could hear the emotion behind it. You can hear that. And that's not what I was intending to do, but in reality, it's like, it was some reflection and emotional, you sitting there thinking about life and thinking about things that's happening. And then you reached out to me. He's like, man, if you don't mind, can I pull up, kind of following along with the mental health conversation. You wanted to discuss the understanding your purpose and figuring out life.
Right.
And no hesitation, got it set up. We in the building. So welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it, man. It was like third, fourth time now. It's been a minute, but
been a minute for everything, bro. But if it's going to lead to more healthier conversations, if it's going to lead to somebody walking away with something from these type of conversations, then I'm all here for it.
Definitely.
Because like I said, or I was alluding to, that's why I was going to do multiple parts, was like 2025 for me was just highs and lows, stuck in deep thought, like literally trying to figure out life. Like, what is the point? What is the purpose? And you get trapped thinking that money is going to answer all these problems. And then once I had the money and realized that, guess what? In the end, I still felt the same, if not worse. It's like, okay, what is the purpose? What is the point? So let's dive into your thoughts and why you wanted to have the conversation. And the floor is yours.
I'll start by saying that life is fragile.
Very.
To begin with. And, like I told you early when I pulled up, is that, I'll be 40 here in 2 weeks. And it's like, man, like life is moving so fast. And it's like you trying to play catch up to becoming a person that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? So just try and do that every day and just trying to figure it out. Like I kind of stated too, is where, just 20 years ago, we saw the world differently. And as time progressed, we get older, losing loved ones and stuff like that. You put things into true perspective.
Absolutely.
Where our mental health does play a huge role. I think sometimes, I might even downplay my mental health sometimes. I like to be cool, like to be funny and stuff like that. But sometimes, we gotta give ourselves grace at the same time and just try to, just take it one day at a time for real.
That done hit home already, because I'm sitting down here and you say you kind of downplay it, but it's like, man, I done diagnosed myself with depression just based off of some of my thoughts and just based off of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you can be 40. So you in the upper echelon club. So I'm sure you done heard somebody say before, idle mind is the devil's playground.
I was thinking that while I was sitting up here, while you was talking. Yeah, that's real.
And I tell people, especially my wife, I'm like, by me being work at home, the kids are going to school, she's gone, there's nobody here but me. Even though I am working, my mind is still running at 1,000 miles per hour and it's silence around me. And it's like, I'm sitting here thinking some of the craziest, weirdest thoughts. Whereas if I'm actually interacting with people, then I already know that you don't even have time for those thoughts. So because I'm in so much silence all the time, you just painting scenarios constant, and they could be far from the truth. I could
Yeah.
be sitting there like, man, I ain't heard nothing from such and such in so long. Damn, they don't fuck with me no more. But in reality, it's like, bro, we all got shit going on. We all got
Yeah.
life and families and kids and things like that. So I done painted a scenario in a negative sense about something that ain't even happened. But it goes back to just having an idle mind, thinking about life, stressing, worrying, and it's just constant. So now you done beat your damn brain up literally to where now it do feel like depression. It do feel
Yeah.
like whatever. And nah, we can't do that, man. Can't do it. Life is fragile. Like you said, man, you just start thinking about stuff. And once you hit that 40 milestone, if you don't stay active,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That's part of mental health too. Even if you just go for a walk.
I'm gonna ask you this question. Think of something. What is something that you thought when you was younger, right? Just about the world, right? That you realized wasn't true when you hit 40.
Ooh.
It can be anything, just like, I mean, just how how you see the world, how you see people, um, learning people and seeing opportunities and setbacks.
That's a great question. And I'm gonna use what you just said a moment ago when you was like, I'm getting ready to be 40. 20 years ago, I thought about the word completely different. To answer your question, at an early age, I truly thought, and please, people, don't misunderstand what I'm getting ready to say because it doesn't apply to everybody. This is just my perspective. This is how I view the world at
Your
an early
lens.
age versus where I am now at 41. Hard work pays off.
Mm.
I was always under the impression that no matter how much I hated school, as long as I made straight A's, then life was just going to keep flowing
Yep.
and everything was just going to be paved out for me just based off of the work that I was putting in. And I've said this before. I was like, school came off as easy for me. So it wasn't even that I was putting all my energy and effort into it, but I thought that because I'm making straight A's, got a scholarship to college, I'm going to get out of college, I'm going to have this big old career, I'm going to have all this money, I'm just going to be able to just go about the world carefree. And I think that was one of the biggest misunderstandings. And me being a reserved person, I don't want to say quiet in a sense, because once you get to know me, I can become a chatterbox and keep talking. I'm pretty sure you know that by now. But it's like I'm a very reserved person. So in the midst of me saying that hard work pays off, the counter to that is, as long as you're able to network and build bridges with people constantly, then that's the aspect of life that can take you far. And I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest message that I missed growing up versus now. I was never told to network.
Hmm.
Even if it ain't about being fake and putting on a mask to sit around a group of people, just being yourself, being natural and being genuine, it can open more doors than the quote unquote work hard and hard work
Right.
pays off.
So what they say is not what you know, it's who you know.
I stand on that to this day. And that's what I'm trying to instill into my children. It's like going to sports real quick. Aubrey's 8th grade year, I'm trying to tell her, I'm like, you're going to high school next year. Leadership skills is going to be very important. So if you learn leadership skills on the basketball court as an 8th grader, then these are principles and things that will help carry you on into high school, on into college. Now you can throw the sports aspect out of it because now you know how to step up and voice a concern or say something when you're networking or having to work with other people. And I'm saying that because last year when she was in the 7th grade, they didn't have a good basketball team. And she was kind of leaned upon to be the point guard, bring the ball up, score the points, do all this and that. And she became frustrated with it to where she didn't want to play no more. So this year, they have a phenomenal team. They got a 6th grader that is cold.
I remember you telling me.
Nice. And now there's games where the 6th grader feels like she's on an island. She don't have nobody to give the ball to this. And then I'm like, Aubrey, you were just in her shoes a year ago. So you of all people should know that I need to be a better teammate. I need to be a better leader. I need to step up. I need to do these things. And it's like she's slowly starting to get it. She's slowly starting to figure it out. But I just feel like those are the things that are important. So if I can instill into them now having the confidence to speak up, learn how to talk, even though you don't know who any of these people are, because if she's a 6th grader, she wasn't at Barrett last year. Learn how to be somebody's friend. Learn how to be a good teammate. That's going to be way more important later on in life than, I just came into practice and ran the most suicides today.
Right.
Nobody cares about that. Did you build bonds? Did you build bridges? Because guess what? You may get to college and she may come to college where you at. She may know somebody that can help you later on down the road. Hey, we played middle school basketball together. She was a great teammate when I was in the 6th grade. She was in the 8th grade. She may help you get a job later on down the road. But unless you build those bonds and network with people, that door will never open. I know it was a long-winded response, but it's like that. Those are the things that matter to me now, because I'm telling you that I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
I just really thought that as long as I'll go and make the grades, do what I was supposed to do, that all these doors are just supposed to automatically open. And at 41, I can say that they didn't.
No, I get it, because even with me going to college, I thought the same way, especially when I first went to college. I go to college, I'm gonna live a great life. But for me, I think now versus 20 years ago is the word selfish is not a bad word to me no more.
Ooh.
Just understanding the importance of choosing yourself sometimes. You know,
amen.
Even kind of bringing Aubrey into this where, like you said, selfishness can also be her speaking up for her team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it might look at as a negative thing, but sometimes selfish helps you out in the long run too. Just like I said, choosing yourself, sometimes understanding that you don't have to wait on everybody else to make a decision for yourself. Because I think even in your last episode, you mentioned something, you ain't say it directly, but I know it kind of resonated with me in certain spaces where it's like, I know times in my early 30s where I might have thought of things, thought of ideals, and I wanted the approval of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
But if I throw an ideal out there and it's not being received the way I wanted it to, then I just trash it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now it's like, nah, waking up every day, I'm hop on these stock charts. You know what I'm saying? I might fool around with House of Purpose still on the low, just working on some kinks with that. But doing the things that I want to do for myself, because life is a temporary thing. And that's, not to get too deep, but that's something that I've accepted too.
Yeah.
That it's temporary, and that you gotta, believing in yourself. That's something I wish I would have done when I was younger. Believed in myself more, but now I'm realizing that in order for me to get where I want to get to, I'm going to have to do most of the legwork.
Yeah. No, you know what? That's perfect. I agree wholeheartedly. And in a sense, I'm in that same boat. And that's why I was just like, this year, I am going to focus and have a more selfish approach. And I've been having this conversation with my wife at times, and I'm like, can't help everybody.
Okay.
No matter as bad as you want to, I understand that it's in your nature. You're kind-hearted, and you may feel like the one time you don't help somebody, it's the end of the world. You're going to beat yourself up. But it's like, sometimes people have to learn to help themselves. because if not, then you become a crutch for them.
And one thing I've learned, a friend of mine, I remember she was telling me one day, she was like, there's a difference between helping somebody and supporting them.
Mm,
Huge difference. Because you helping, you doing most of the work.
yeah,
You supporting, what do you need? What can I do for you without, losing myself in the process or making me look at you different in the process.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Shout out to my guy Mario, man, checking in before practice. I'll chime in on YouTube. Man, appreciate you, bro. I ain't heard from you in a minute either, man. And I got to do a better job of just checking in on people. And y'all be sure to check out my therapist when we do this podcast. He's on his basketball grind right now. It's that time of year. So hope all is well out there with you, bro. Shout out to E, chanting that inner Mamba. It won't kill you. Like for real, man.
what's up, E?
Like some people you're just too nice. You're just too nice. And we was having a conversation prior to us hitting the record button. And I had mentioned that sometimes it's like I feel like, okay, people view you how you present yourself. And if I always come off as the nice guy, I could treat him this way. He ain't gonna say nothing because he's a nice guy. And that's people taking advantage of you. So it's like, no, you can't give them that satisfaction. So learning to be more selfish, like you're saying, can prove to be beneficial. So I'm all on board for that.
It's just plus though too, like you said, just being a nice guy. Ain't no wrong being a nice guy. But sometimes, like I even kind of thought to myself that sometimes the people who take advantage of good people are weak people. They're going through something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just everybody's going through something, right? Like you said, you're serious, it's mental health, right? And it can be hard to really be honest about what we're going through. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I know with me, it's like, I'm striving to do this or do that and do this. Like I told you before before we hit the record, but like, man, sometimes I feel like I'm running out of time. So I might force my growth instead of allowing it to happen naturally.
And you know what? That's not a bad thing either.
So
it's not. Like sometimes you do just have to go out and take that leap of faith. And that's something that I've struggled with, even as it relates to the podcast. It's like certain people have reached out to me. Like I've noticed that you ain't been doing episodes. And they're like, hey, I go back and listen to some of your old episodes, regardless of whether you're getting the views or not. It's like it helps me. And that's that leap of faith that I'm talking about. And that's what urged me to fire it up and get back to it, because the very first episode was at your crib, bro. The very first episode was at your crib. And even with that, it was just like you took that leap. Y'all kept telling me, man, you should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. And like I said on the last episode, it was like during that time period, it just felt so genuine. It felt so like loved, and I felt it. But then it just kind of dwindled down, and then it's like, damn, ain't nobody rocking with me no more. But it's like, you know what? Take that leap again.
Yeah.
Try to figure out how to reach a whole different audience and go from there. So long story short, saying all this, it's like, it is time to be selfish. It is time to force that growth and quit waiting for it to happen naturally, because that's what I've been doing on my end, hoping that it just happens naturally. Nah, it's time to force it. It's time to force it.
It's like though too what you just said, but about people was rocking with you at first, and you felt like maybe sometimes people wasn't rocking with you. I think the hardest part though too with people is that it's hard for people to get on board sometimes when they can't guarantee the outcome. So when you let's think of education, right? People go to school like I got another degree, that's what's up. But they know 1 to 2 years, another degree. You know what I'm saying? Like every time, like, it was jobs, promotions, whatever. But, like I've always said is, and I will always stand on this, I believe in what you got. But the podcast anyway. I've always felt like you had something special anyway, because even starting on the Facebook with the man, you got like 100 people arguing on his comment section. They're going back and forth.
Faithfully.
You know what I'm saying? And then boom, move it over to a podcast. So
Faithfully.
you got it.
And even with that, it's like, even in that aspect of it, and just kind of tying it back to sports, I see Mario still on here for a moment. It's like, that's how I know I started losing myself, because I don't even enjoy sports no more. And a lot of the conversations and things that I used to have, whether it was social media or sitting around texting people, it's like, I don't even do that for real. I said something about LeBron before the Lakers season started, and people came after me with pitchforks. And I was like, you know what? It ain't even worth it. But the old me, man, I would have stayed up all night long trying to get my point across, because I was so passionate about it. And it's like, dog, I done lost myself so much to where, bro, I ain't even passionate about basketball. And it's like, nah, man, we gotta fix this, bro.
No, but I see you out there on the golf course though.
Hey, that's my new love, man. Shout out to golf, bro. You gotta get out there. Last time I saw y'all, me and Kendrick was talking about that stuff too, and we ain't never got out there since. Shout out to Daryl on the live.
What up, Daryl?
When I tell you, bro, it's so peaceful. And me being a competitive person, it fits perfect, because until you go out there and you swing with everything you got, and that motherfucking ball, excuse my language, might go 15 feet, dog, you don't understand that level of like anger. It's like, bro, I just sit there and try to put everything I got into hitting this ball, and it might have went from here to the TV. But then you realize it's not about how hard you hit the ball. It's just coming in contact with it the right way. You learning techniques. And it's like, bro, a little tilt of your wrist will determine whether or not that ball go 100 yards to the right, 100 yards to the left, or 200 yards straight down the fairway. So if you're a competitive person, you're competing against yourself and the course. And it's figuring out, how do you address the ball? And I got to do this every single time, the exact same way. If I do not address this ball the exact same way, I have no idea what the outcome is going to be. And that's the part that makes it fun. And not to mention going out with these goofballs. So now we out here just drinking and
you, Avery,
man, listen to me. Shout out to E, bro. Got that Barkley for him. Man, I swear, it's so unorthodox, but you play baseball. So I feel like you would have a more natural swinging motion. Avery played baseball, so I feel
he's all right, man. You know me and Avery play on the same baseball team before, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like Avery, when he drives, he has the distance.
Yeah.
You know what? Everybody has a good drive but me. But it's like, I feel like my iron game kind of helps me, because I know how to hit I can't hit a driver for shit, excuse my language. And I know we done got sidetracked, but I done got excited. But it's like, golf has to be one of them things where it has to become a hobby. It's literally the phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it. I really feel like that applies wholeheartedly to golf, because if you go a long period without playing and think you're just going to walk back out there and pick up where you left off, it's not going to happen. Plus, it's an expensive game, and that plays a part into it as well, how often you get to play. Because it's like, if you don't have a membership, every time we go play 18, bro, you talking about $50-$60.
Okay.
Then we out here losing balls left and right, so you got to have an adequate amount of balls. And if you like me, you're going to buy the cheapest balls, which you get what you pay for.
Right.
Of course, we're not no professionals, so it's like, all right, we just out here to have fun and learn. But it's like, okay, if you don't hit enough balls, you realize that it does matter what type of balls you have. It matters what type of clubs you got. All that stuff matters. So just trying to figure it all out. And we're going back to, finding your purpose. And it's like at 41, me running up and down the court ain't
Right.
even an option no more. So if you want to remain competitive, have something to do, and now golf is that new challenge.
What happened on the golf course at one time? I think you posted online. Did you hit like a birdie or hole in one or something, and people were saying you didn't do it?
Oh my God. Listen to me, bro. We was out here, we was at Iroquois.
Okay.
And what we done was closest. If you're within a club length to the hole, then you can pick up and go on to the next, because it was packed out there that day. So we're on a par 3. I want to say maybe like 160 something yards out. And on top of that, shout out to J Nim. We was doing side bets.
Okay.
$5 closest to the pin, you got to land on the green. So I go up, I address the ball, and best swing I done ever hit, and literally see the ball might have landed less than 2 feet from the hole. So granted, we're not professionals. In my mind, it might as well went in. That's a hole in one.
Right.
I'm having the time of my life, celebrating, camera rolling, excited. Here I am thinking that I'm posting a memorable moment, and social media lit my ass up.
Messing with your mental health.
Nah,
Get off that golf course.
Swear, bro. They said, because and I actually learned something that day. So like, I had so much loft on the ball that when it hit the ground, it actually got stuck. Okay. It came down with so much force that the ball got stuck. So when I picked the ball up, I just used my foot to kind of level out the divot. They actually have a tool that you're supposed to use and etch around your hole and then scoop it back up. So all these people, like, it got so bad on my TikTok to where I had to delete the video because I had thousands of views. You can tell you don't fucking know how to play golf. You didn't even fix your fucking divot. If you think that's a fucking hole in one, you fucking suck. No, I'm just like, damn. And like you said, mental health, like it really did bother me, bro. If he's still on there, he can tell you that. I'm like, I had to delete that shit because something that I thought was something to be proud of turned into a moment of shame. It was like, damn. So no, you gotta come out there, man. Like, all jokes aside,
I'd definitely be out there.
All jokes aside,
I might go to Top Golf first, but I'll be out there.
But you know what? Even with that, like, that's where we kind of started. And I'm watching E and all them, they hitting the ball all the way to the back. And then when I swing, all my shots go to the right, like hook hard. But when you get out there on the course, as much as they was hitting the ball straight down the middle all the way to the back, there's times where their shots do what mine does.
Yeah.
Or if you don't come in contact with it and you only go 10 feet, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, to me, it's such a fun sport and it's so competitive to where that's the challenge. And that's what I've always enjoyed. Yeah. So I can't physically get up and down the court and do all that no more, but golf, most definitely. So the conversation, finding purpose, understanding the meaning of life. And, you know, you've touched on several key components and things like that. And of course, it's all centered around mental health and stuff. And I've already had several episodes lined up, and I'll just give a little snippet here just so I can get your thoughts, and maybe you can have some encouraging words or something that I need here. I've had this episode in my head for months. This is prior to me even doing the last one or anything, because I've been beating myself up, and I was going to title it, "Where Did I Drop the Ball?" Quote unquote, as a dad. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because, as competitive of a person that I am, as much as I love sports and basketball and things like that, when my son didn't make the basketball team, when I tell you it done something to me, and I felt like I was at fault. I watched my child come to the car and he cried the whole way home. And it's like, it's not that he don't know the game. It's not that he can't play the game. And I've never been one to put my kids on a higher pedestal or anything. If anything, I feel like I'm too harsh on them because I fully critique them. If they play like trash, dad's gonna tell you play like trash. Mom gonna give you a pat on the back. Oh, you did great. No, the hell she didn't. No, Aubrey played like trash. You need to tell her that. But as it pertains to him not making the team, I sat here for the longest trying to figure out what did I do wrong. And it's just like, bruh, like that in its own self weighed on me mentally. And I told you, I sat down here and diagnosed myself with depression on so many occasions. And it's like, where did I drop the ball?
Yeah, I wouldn't say, first, I don't have kids, but I wouldn't say that you dropped the ball. I think that might have been a moment for you where you felt like you couldn't save him.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you are his protector, right? So it's like when anything he does or anything your daughters do, before we had the conversation, you talked about your day-to-day routine, your wife and your kids are your priority, right? So anytime they need to be somewhere, sports, cheerleading, you there. And probably that moment you pick him up, you expect him to come to the car and dad, I made the team.
You wanna know the crazy part? True story. I'm sitting out there waiting in the car, and I noticed there wasn't no kids coming out or nothing. I'm like, man, let me go in here. So I went in.
Mm.
So when I walked in the gym, he didn't see me because, dude, literally, this was for the 6th grade team. And I want to say maybe 40 plus kids tried out. So that in its own self is hard.
Yeah.
And I walk in the gym, I'm looking around, I don't see him. I'm like, what in the world? So then I glance to my right and I see a group of kids walking with the coaches to a different area. So I instantly in my mind, I was like, damn, he's finna get cut. So I come to the car, pretend like it didn't happen. So now I'm sitting in here straight. I'm like, dog, man, how? And no disrespect to anybody else's children, because when I looked in the gym at the kids that was still in there, I'm like, no. I was like, man, what the could he have done? And I'm just sitting there. So then I started seeing kids come out. So I'm waiting. So I get out, go back in. By the time I come back in, he's finally coming towards the door and he just broke. And I thought that it was very important at that moment in time for me not to be quote unquote dad and scold him or this. I was like, let him get it out. So we rode home. I didn't ask him how did it go. I didn't say no. I just let him cry. And then he was like, the coach told me that I got to work on my toughness. And in my mind, I was like, man, what the fuck? I'm like, and it goes back to kind of what we had been talking about earlier in terms of selfishness and things like that. Peyton is such a pass first. He don't want to shoot. He wants to just do the little things. He's talking on defense, do this and do that. But guess what? I know he can shoot.
Right.
He may not be the fastest kid or nothing like that, or in terms of athleticism, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's when I started realizing, like, maybe when the coach says you got to work on your toughness, then maybe that's what he's talking about. Because you got to think, trying to try out 40 plus kids, you probably got a 90-minute window. You're not going to be able to see everything. And that's why I just started beating myself up, because I'm like, should I have been more tough on him, making him do stuff? Because dude, he got all the tools and all the resources that he could possibly need right here at home. He's had a basketball. I bought him a rim, bro. He was 3 years old. So it's like, it's not that he's physically incapable of doing some of the stuff,
He's coming from football too.
bruh. And it's just like, I'm like, come on, man. So then it's like, all right, let him cry it out. Now I'm being more firm. And it's like, all right, now I'm in dad mode. It's like, this is why I'm telling you, and I've been telling you for years, like, you've got to learn to just go. Quit waiting for people to tell you, just go. It's got to be a natural instinct. The transition from elementary to middle school, now they full court press constantly.
Right.
The game is faster. Nobody's going to hold your hand. And that's where the whole selfishness and things that we've been talking about. And it's like, we haven't instilled that in them. And sidebar, it's like, I'm asking you because maybe this will help me get some clarity. I don't even know how to word this because I don't want to offend anybody. For me, growing up, I've discussed that we were quote unquote the hood kids, so to speak. All we did was eat, sleep, and drink basketball. Basketball was an escape for us. So we always had a ball in our hands. Now I got the damn Hillary Carlton Banks kids, and it's like the love is not there. They play it, but it's more recreational for them. So they don't have that kill or be killed approach to it like we did. So I'm saying that because now I'm like, did I set my kids up for failure?
I wouldn't say that. Like I said, I won't make this. I don't have kids. I'll make this known to everyone listening. But the way that you described it to some degree is kind of like in your childhood, it was, an outlet and somewhat of a kind of survival mode.
Yeah.
Right. So even back prior UK on the blue courts,
Bruh,
survival mode. If I get off this, if I lose one game, I'm 3-4 games behind, right?
it's gonna be at least 2 hours for you to play again.
And then kids, you and your wife raised them right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they have access to things, but they have access to a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It makes perfect sense. But it's like, bro, it's like, dude, swear. I want to say maybe he was in the 4th grade. Basketball season is over. I'm taking them over there to Cochran. Got the cone set up. Here, you need to work on this. Between the leg, behind the back. And I'm like, it got to the point to where every time he made a mistake, he would just shut down, cry. Me thinking that I'm providing tough love, I'm chewing him out, cussing him out, this and that, that and this. And where that would have motivated us to keep going, it was the reverse.
Yeah.
It kept breaking him down. So then I'll get angry, get your shit, let's go. We'll just get in the car and leave. And that's why I'm saying, fast forward, he's a 6th grader. Now I'm beating myself up because I'm like, should I have made him fucking stay and jeopardize my father-son relationship, making it like a drill sergeant to where now he may have, that was my biggest thing. I don't want my children to resent me because I'm forcing them to do something that they may not necessarily even love.
Yeah.
And it comes off as if they're doing it for me. And I don't want to be one of those parents. You're quote unquote living through your kid, do. So to escape that, just get in the car, let's go. I'm not gonna make you do it. You got to do it on your own. You got to do it on your own. Not realizing that, bro, when I was in the 4th grade, we did church league. I didn't have the freedom to just go to the damn park.
Yeah.
This wasn't until I got 6th, 7th grade. So it's like, you're expecting something out of him that even I didn't have.
Yeah.
So you scale it back, but now it's like, am I the reason he didn't make the team? I was in there beating myself up, bro. Shout out to Mario. Nah, my boy shot the leather off the ball. When I went up there to check him out, he was coaching AAU.
Mhm.
And I was telling him then, I was like, bro, Peyton in the gym just shooting, knocking him down. But if you get him on the basketball court with 9 other people, he won't shoot them out. He would just be just a kid. And it would burn me up because Aubrey's the same way. See, I swear, me and Aubrey will go to a gym and she's 3 for 3 with me. We shooting threes, we going back and forth. She's swishing. They got a phenomenal coach right now. This is her. She's got a female coach. She played college ball. Very competitive. And here we go again. Aubrey, you got to be more aggressive. Aubrey, drive to the basket. And that's why I'm telling you, I'm beating myself up because I'm like, where is the disconnect? As much as I love the game, talking about basketball, it's not translating. It's not, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I went through the blues, man.
And plus, time's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't know about I don't know if your kids do social media and stuff like that, but just
Nah,
think,
hell no, knock on wood.
Just think we didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? So we was
Yeah.
outside and where we working on that game all the time. I know with me with baseball, from 7 years old all the way up to 14, I'm playing every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different. I mean, look at LeBron and Bronny James. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you know, the greatest player of all time. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So you can have all the resources, but you know,
that's why I said it's tough, man. Shout out to Durr. Everyone is built different too. And you know what? I'm glad you said that, bro, because I'm not gonna say who commented on it, but this was maybe last year or maybe a year before, and it showed you how much it stung. Because I got on the post and was like, damn, I really wish my kids, I don't forget what I said in terms of their confidence. And somebody made a comment, was like, well, maybe it's just not in them. And I took it so personal. And it like, I was in here burning the fuck up. But then it's like, okay, when you really, really sit down and think about it, it's like, well, damn, maybe it's not. As much as I love the game, surrounded by the game, it's like, bro, they don't watch it in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I expect something when they're basically showing me that, you know, I'll do it for the sake of doing it. But in terms of this being blood, sweat, and tears, it's not there. But again, I'm having those mental battles with myself because I'm like, as a dad, you're supposed to have a son that plays sports and does this and does that. That's why I'm like, bro, it's hard, man, trying to figure out life. So I'm saying all that to bring it all back to what the topic of this conversation is like finding your purpose in life. And that is a part of it. I am a dad. You know, you said, you know, I don't have kids, and it's like you got nieces and nephews, you know what I'm saying? Like that's still a figure in their life.
Yeah, I agree.
You still are in some of the moments where you might have to offer some advice, some uncle advice.
I do too much right now. Like so my niece is about to go to high school next year.
Yeah.
We have great conversations about life now. And I'm like, and it's, you know what's so crazy, even with her, like, you know, me and my brother shared a room up until I went to college. You know, my niece has always had her own room.
Yeah. That's why I said it's different, man.
It's a different situation. Even with her, she don't, you know, she's spoiled. So, but she does the right things, but at the same time, it's like there's no sense of urgency with her.
Yeah.
That's not.
It's this whole generation. Though,
no sense of urgency.
That's why I said, are we to blame? Are we to blame?
I think, like, I really do think times have evolved. It's changed. It's, you know, I was watching the podcast, Earn Your Leisure podcast earlier, and they was just talking about just, you know, the guy that was on there, he was talking about maybe the next 10 to 15 years, people is going to be trying to be content creators. They're not trying to go work in retail and stuff like that. It's just how the world's evolving.
Hell, I feel like we already there. Yeah. If we're going to be truthful. And let me ask you this. You know, we talked about how we viewed life 20 years ago versus now at 40. Here is one thing that I have expressed to my wife. I've slowly kind of tried to pull it out of my kids because we talk to them like, what are your goals? What kind of career do you see yourself having them kind of conversations? And it's like, for our generation, we were told, go to school, go to college, get a degree. When you get a degree, it's going to land you this quote unquote big career. You're going to have all this money. But now at 41, and you see how AI is coming into play and things like that, a lot of the corporate jobs and stuff is becoming more automated. The system is replacing people. So it's like, I've started talking to Peyton about learning a trade. Build. He loves doing stuff with his hands. And I'm like, when you start thinking engineering or construction and things like that, that's always going to be in need. Plumbing, electrician, things like that. It's like, bro, we had a water leak and dude was getting ready to charge us $33 an hour to come and fix a pipe that's running down this wall right over here. And he was like, they got a dig in the front of the house. He said he's going to do all this work on his own. And in my mind, I'm like, so if you got to dig to get to this pipe, talking about hours, plural, $33 an hour. Luckily, the company that we went with, they had a little bulldozer. They got down in the ground in like 30 minutes, did what they supposed to do. And, you know, it's done. But I'm like, had I agreed to pay this guy and this motherfucker out there with a little shovel, he's taking his time. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to read the comments in a minute. My bad, y'all. But I'm saying all that because I'm like, somebody that has a college degree, it almost makes me sound ignorant if I'm telling my kids, you don't necessarily have to go to college. It's like, get a skill. Yeah, you got to be certified and do this and do that. But in terms of just walking on a campus, of course, you want them to share that college experience. But me learning from my mistakes, I'm going to tell them and continue to tell them, have a career in mind. Have something that you are passionate about, and you know for a fact that you're not going to view it as a job. You're getting up every day to do something that you love so that you don't look at it like work.
Yep. I agree 100%. Because even like you said with Peyton, you know, he's into building and engineering stuff like that. So he can get into the whole coding for AI and still build things at the same time. So,
man, so that's why I was just like, bro, shout out to Durr. We could go outside and be gone until the street lights come on. Kids can't do that. Kids can't go to the corner now. I swear that's like, bro, like literally, we would get on our bikes and my mama wouldn't have a clue where we was at. Don't know what we was getting into. And it's like, I wouldn't dare give my kids that much freedom because you have no idea what could possibly happen. Just some random idiot just being stupid and just do something to him. So I was like, it all plays a factor. Yes. But it's like, do I take it personal? Because there are some kids that love the game. Shout out to my nephew, bro. Bro, Daniel gonna be a monster, dude. Nah, he was just picking on me today. I said on the last episode, I was like, he the one that I come down here. He's like, dang, you an unk for real. I ain't have my hair cut or nothing. I'm like, bro, I got a fresh cut now. And I walked in the kitchen earlier. He's like, man, you got white hair and everything. I was like, you know what, damn it, I can't win even when I got a haircut. But for him, it's like everybody's older. He's the youngest. So in order for him to fit on the court with them, he's got to go hard. He's got to be fearless. He can't be afraid of nothing. And I'm like, they have no idea that they are building and creating a monster. That dude was like 2-3 years old and he would not put the ball down. They was just here Christmas. I got Peyton a silent basketball. It's definitely silent in his damn house because he don't pick it up. But it's like, as soon as he came in, he saw it. And everywhere he was at around his house, he's bouncing the ball, doing something. And I'm like, to me, those little signs should tell you. And that's why I was like, should I be beating myself up? I can't force something on him that maybe it's not there. But I'm saying all that, going back to the career stuff that we sitting there talking about, I'm just like, everything is changing. And you're 1000% correct in terms of people becoming content creators. It's like, bro, I'm sitting there watching T Grizzly streaming, and it's like, here's somebody that's rich already getting richer.
Yeah.
And to some people, it's like, man, that's just a waste of time. You sitting around playing video games. But it's like, bro, this generation, that's what they into.
Found this niche.
Swear. Let's get to these comments real quick. We got different experiences and exposure, so we're going to be different products of our environment. I told my kids, if college is an option, get a business degree. That's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, it's up to us to just sit down and talk and probe their minds, because that's something that I didn't have. I was just, hey, you go to college, you're going to get a good job, and that was it. And it's like, on the other side of the fence now, 41 years old, I'm holding myself accountable, because when I got to school, bro, I didn't take that shit serious. I didn't have a career in mind. I didn't have a goal in mind, because nobody inquired about my passion. Had somebody say, you know what, bro, you should be in here taking courses to become a basketball coach or teach PE and this and that, because really that's where your heart is. You want to do everything sports driven, sports related, journalism. As many meetings that I had with counselors and all this and that was never even a thought. And then you fast forward, and like you said, as much as we sit on the internet and look at stats and argue and debate, hell, could have created First Take 20 years ago. Hell, who needs Stephen A. Smith when hell?
I agree. Now that's interesting you say that too, because I have a little cousin. He's 20 years old, and he graduated high school, and he went and he got a trade. And I'm like, and I see him all the time, and I always tell him, like, trying to figure out how we're gonna figure this product. Like, keep telling him, like, man, we're gonna have to take him on trips with me, just so he can get out the city more and just see how big the world is.
That's important too.
Just so he can kind of expand his mind more and just figure out what he wants to do. So
that's it. Like I said, us coming from a small town, it's like we didn't know what the world had to offer. And it's crazy, because I was just having this conversation with my brother earlier, because he asked me a very important question. And the more I thought about it, he said, do you think if you lived in Houston that you would have the same life that you have now, in terms of I'm married, family, or would I just be out there living a bachelor's life? And that's the PG version of the conversation.
Houston's a little sensitive for me, but go ahead.
And when I initially answered the question, in my mind, I was like, okay, I done been there, I done been out, I understand what that scene is. And I was like, damn, I think it would be kind of hard to just be a husband, and you know what I'm saying? But then when I thought about it, and I was like, nah, I was like, I feel like I would still be the same person, because I was like, hell, coming from Clinton to Lexington is a big game changer, so to speak. And I told him, I was like, hell, they had college night parties going on, you know what I'm saying? And even with that, it's like, I didn't go out in Lexington for real. Every now and then I went out, but I hit a point in life where I was like, bro, I was at the Johnson Center. Oh man, we going out, 2 Keys. We did it, man. I see y'all tomorrow. And I'm like, that's just who I am. So it's like seeing the world and figuring out, is this something I can see myself doing? So going back to what you're talking about is like take him on more trips and things like that. It's like, I got a skill that can carry with me no matter where I live at on this planet. It's going to always be a need for what I got. So whether or not I'm doing it in Louisville, easier. So it's like, guess what? I can take this on the road, go live in Cali, go do this and do that. And it's like, until you see and experience those things, you never know.
Because like his older brother, so 23, he's in the service. So he's out in Washington State. He's been in service the last 4 or 5 years. I'm like, you see, he don't even like coming home. You know what I'm saying? He came home for Christmas. Bro. All right, I'm out. I'm going back. You know what I'm saying? So
Because it's and again, man, I hate this because I don't want people back at home to feel like I didn't turn my back on where I'm from. But it's like, bro, I ain't been home in over 2 years. And there's a multitude of reasons why. But it's like once you leave, again, no disrespect. It is hard to come back. Not in the sense of you turning your back on your roots and where you come from, or you're ashamed of where you come from. But it's like I done seen and experienced so much. Yeah, I'll come back and visit. I gotta get back to this.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like sometimes people don't understand that. They don't. But for me, it's like, bro, my mother's house, the cemetery is right there in the back. So I can stand in the kitchen and see my mother's gravesite. I don't want to. That's me being honest. Like I'm at a point where me going home is more hurtful than helpful.
Yeah.
So I've chose to just stay away. So it's tough, man. It's one of them things. But like I said, man, once you start seeing the world and way out in Washington, I ain't been that far west, but that's gotta be a game changer.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, yeah, I'll come home to visit y'all, but guess what?
And he's been overseas too, so it's like,
oh, most definitely then.
Yeah, so
most of us didn't have all of that. All we had were dreams of college for a sport, then go on to make millions. Not the life of accomplishing a dream. We didn't care about the education, just where a sport could possibly take us. And honestly, I feel like that's a gift and a curse too. So it's like going back to my son. It's like, okay, he didn't make the team, but it's fucking straight A student.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was asked to be an ambassador for 6th grade on parent teacher night and shit like that. He's going around showing people. So it's like my kids are valuable in way other areas other than just basketball.
Right.
And kind of like what you're saying, E, that's kind of how we grew up. It was just like it's ball or nothing. And nobody ever tried to pull out what other passions do you have.
That's why you probably see a lot of people, you know, from our age. I know every time I go to Lexington, like certain people play like Lexington Catholic, whereas like he was good in high school. But, you know, they people just talented on the court, but they didn't have nothing else off the court,
That's
unfortunately.
That's it. So then you stuck with I've been seeing all these posts. We can get ready to get off here in a minute, man. Dope conversation. You see all these posts where it's like, hey, bro, quit trying to live off your high school popularity. It's over. It's over. But oftentimes, and I catch myself doing it too. It's like, bro, you'll sit down and you talk with people and you hear the passion that comes out. Man, when I used to do this and do that, man, I played this and I did that and did that. And it's like, now you're putting those expectations on your children. And it may not be fair. And that's the mental tug of war that I've been having. It's like Aubrey last year was excited. They got out there. Team was horrible. She hated it. She didn't want to play this year. And like I told her, I said, you played 6th grade, you played 7th grade. Why are you going to walk away from it? I was like, I don't care if you play high school. I was like, I'm at this point to where it's like, I know your passion ain't really with it. So asking you to go play high school sport, that's a whole different ball game. Now you're talking about people out here that's trying to use this as a tool to get a scholarship, right, or they just really love it.
NIL deal,
man. Swear. So it's like, I'm not going to be that dad that I'm just going to throw you out here knowing that you don't even want to be. But I'm like, you started something, finish it. And that's why I'm saying that kudos to their coach, because they've changed the entire culture in less than a year. They've only lost 2 games.
Is this the coach's first year?
Coach's first year.
Okay.
But this is not her first year coaching. She coaches AAU. And then she coached some because she just got a position. Just the other day, bro. Hold on. And
then did the 6th grader play on her AAU team?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The chemistry and all of that is there. That's why I was just like, the very first day you saw this player, I said, "Oh shit." Aubrey knew like they got a nice squad. But now it's like teams are starting to figure out she's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
The other night, bro, they played a boxing one on her, a sixth grader. I don't see the post, but she had posted that she got some position and Louisville Tempo. Have you heard of that? Something that they just instituted. Women's semi-pro basketball team. It's coming here or something. But Aubrey's coach is now the coach for that too.
Oh, wow.
So it's like when you
That's big.
when you hear her coach, you hear the passion.
Yeah.
You hear what we're talking about, or we're describing how, or at least for me, how I felt when I was growing up. It was like eat, sleep, and drink basketball, the ins and outs, and you're trying to teach it and instill it in these kids, and you're so passionate about it. And that's why I'm saying that for Aubrey to have that, I hate that it was her 8th grade year. Had she had this in her 6th, 7th grade year, we may be having a whole different conversation about high school. But it's just like she's coming home smiling now. She's coming home excited. And it's like you see it, and maybe if she does decide to play next year, then you know I'm all for it. But it's like in reality, I don't think it's gonna happen. And as a basketball junkie, deep down, I might be a little upset about it, but it's like, bro, that's also having to be a dad and accept that, guess what? They may not be as passionate about it as you.
Yep.
But when it comes to sewing and baking and cooking, she's all for it. So it's like, guess what? Big Nita's makes a shit ton of money baking cheesecakes. So guess what, honey? There's a future in baking if you figure out the right thing. So it's like, bro, finding your purpose in life. And I'm rambling, and we'll close it. We'll bring it in.
Got it.
But it's like finding your purpose in life, understanding life. And I feel like this is all a part of it. You have no idea how much you've helped me. You know, you've been here for at least 2 hours, I feel like.
That's it.
And it's like the conversations tonight have been amazing, on and off the mic. And it's just a pick-me-up.
Yeah.
So
my thing is just one day at a time, man. Like I definitely always appreciate you anyway, man. Like I said, you one of the most consistent people that I know. So, but yeah, like to those
that's a compliment,
too,
bro.
You know, those that's listening too, like just one day at a time, man. Like you won't figure it out in one day. You won't. But wake up every day. You wake up, you get another chance to make something right. That's all it is.
I like that. Because at the end of the day, bro, we are on borrowed time.
That's it.
And I'll go on and plug this in so I don't have to take it to another whole episode, because I had mentioned health scare on the first episode. And I kind of elaborated to you a little bit, but I'm going to add this in here because we're talking about mental health, purpose, and understanding life and things like that. And it's like, long story short, I go for a dentist appointment and just a routine cleaning. And I guess their new procedure is, you know, you got to check your blood pressure, all this and that. So she goes to check my blood pressure and she's like, "Are you feeling okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I feel fine." She's like, "Well, your blood pressure's high. We'll wait a few minutes. We'll check it again." They check it again. She leaves the room, comes back with like 3 or 4 other people. And now everybody's like, "Are you sure you're okay?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he's like, "Well, your blood pressure is at stroke level. And we're not going to do the procedure today. You need to go to the emergency room immediately." And it's like, my heart stops. And go to the emergency room. They're telling me that, you know, if I'm not experiencing symptoms, it's nothing that they can do. Follow up with your primary care physician. And that's when you just start thinking about life. And then you start hearing people talk about, yeah, high blood pressure's a silent killer, this and that, that and this. And now I'm on damn blood pressure medications. And it's like years and years of us going to crunch and working out and shit like that. And it's like, y'all have been consistent, and here I am inconsistent. And then you follow up with, now here's the health scares and things like that. So the message is, stay active, even if you're active for 30 minutes, or just go take a 20-minute walk and things like that. Once you build that routine, it becomes a habit. And it's like you almost feel out of place if you don't go take that walk. If you go take enough walks every day, you're just going to naturally say, hey, I got to go take a walk. And then once you stop doing that, your body's going to tell you, like, wait a minute, get your ass up. And I'm like, bro, like, mentally, I've just been all over the place. And you just start thinking about death. You start thinking about health scares. You start thinking about cancer. You start thinking about, is my blood pressure going to get so elevated to where when I go to sleep tonight, I'm not going to wake up? And that's why I'm telling y'all, bro, this all played a factor in the gambling and things like that. Cause bro, I'm up all night long and then wake up at 5 o'clock to log in for work. And I'm functioning off 2-3 hours of sleep. Guess what? That could be part of why my damn blood pressure is up too. So just sitting around and thinking about life and understanding how important your choices really are. So sitting around stressing can lead to hypertension, blood pressure. You just heard me say 1,000 times tonight that I done diagnosed myself with depression sitting in here. So it's like I'm fucking up my own health and you don't even realize it. So whatever you got to do to get in the right headspace, like you just said, you're not going to figure it all out, but finding a purpose every day, every single day, do something that you feel is going to help others, or going back to what you said earlier, like sometimes you do need to be more selfish. I'm going to contribute 30 minutes to me learning something new that's going to help me be a better person. That's going to require you to be in the right headspace. You can't be sulking. You can't be depressed, because now my wheels are turning on how I can better myself. So now that's a positive. So now maybe your blood pressure may come down. Exercising on a regular basis. You see that weight bench over? I got my little 25-pound bells and things like that. I may not use it as frequently as I need to, but it's a start. And I'm hoping that even with that, it's like Peyton is old enough now to where when I go to the Y, he can do the machine weights and stuff. So it's like if I use him as a reason to get in there, and guess what? He's helping me. I may help him for tryouts next year. Iron sharpen iron. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like just finding little things to do and tying it back in is at the purpose of life. That's all I got. That's it.
Appreciate you for having me.
Appreciate you pulling up, man. Dope ass conversations. We need to have it more often. I'm finna hold your feet to the fire. This is a curveball for you. We had a conversation. I almost want to say maybe 2 years ago. And we had discussed a men's circle, men coming together. I don't know if you remember. I'm telling you, we need it.
We can do it.
We need it. So put it together. Figure out, even if it's start out with 3 people and figure out something, once a month, let's all get together, 60 minutes, put a time limit on it. Let's just vent, talk about life. What's your suggestions on this? How can I help here? Just vent, open up, just talk. I've had so many conversations with so many different people, only to realize that a lot of us are going through so many similar situations, and all we needed was just somebody to ask, how you doing? Not the whole cliche, oh, I'm doing all right. No,
real.
How you really doing? Them 10 or 15 minute conversations may help somebody for the next 10 weeks. You never know. So
I got you.
let's figure it out, bro.
I got
Because
you.
this right here has helped me tremendously. Like just deep thought, deep conversations. And so many people's been chiming in the comments and stuff like that. So I'm gonna work on this tonight and get it put up on the YouTube channel. Appreciate everybody that's rocking with me, man. New year, better me. Appreciate you, C.
Appreciate you.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we are out.
Ass toasted, no competition. Amnesia coasting. I feel so high, I feel so live. My body's in the twine. Amnesia coasting. I feel so live, and I know why. That I can't deny. Amnesia coasting. Giddy fine wine, fools, malt liquor. Wish me I'm high class.